Business Bytes and Brews is a monthly entrepreneurial event that allows small business owners, agency owners, nonprofits, people who are thinking about getting a business going to just put themselves out there, ask some questions about what it takes to get a small business off the ground, or to take something that's maybe been stagnated and needs a breath of fresh air and some life breathed into it. And so it's really that free opportunity. So there are new faces here. I love that. Please feel free that this is a safe space to ask any question. For those of you who've been here before, there are no silly questions. There are questions that we all want to hear because there's a variety of experience here in this room. And so, just, point those questions in the spirit of learning more, and we'll be all good. Our partnership is a sponsorship with the Bucknell Small Business Development Center. Amber is here. It's also sponsored by Ivy Coffee, W&S Distributors, and Tampa Casarda Design. I have with me Amber Amato Guerrera, and she's going to talk a little bit about the SBDC.
Thanks, Norm. So I know most of the people in the room. We're here if you need us. We help businesses, they start, grow, and all the various challenges that you face along the way. We are thrilled to be welcoming Nissan today. He's a good friend of the SBDC. We've known each other for a long time. Some of us here have been fraternized. I had that conversation with someone earlier. If you have been, you remember it. But Nissan brings just a wealth of talent. He is a true entrepreneur. He brings an amazing spirit, and we're really grateful for him joining us today and giving time out of his busy life to share some of the amazing energy that he has and tell a little bit of his story.
Yeah, it's a great intro. I'm not going to belabor that anymore. Nissan, the floor is yours.
Absolutely.
Welcome.
Thank you, Norm.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Looking forward to it.
Hello, everybody. Again, my name is Nissan Trotter, just like the car, minus one S. That's the story of my life. And I want to thank Norm and the crew here at Cup of Co for having me, and also the Small Business Development Center for being here today. I love talking shop as it pertains to entrepreneurship. And although the title will say Small Town, Big Brand, how to build influence in a 5,000 person market, I hope to be able to meet you exactly where you are in the phases of the businesses that you all have. So I want to take maybe 60 seconds or so, if you will, to discuss among your table. We're going to just break the ice for a little bit. I would love for you to conversate between each other about the reason why you're here and possibly what you hope to get out of this. So go ahead, I'll give you like 60 seconds or so, and then we'll take a deep dive into some of the content that I have.
No, I work with you. I'm not trying to She did. That's true.
All right, I think that was 60 seconds or a little bit over. Hear conversations at the tables. Go ahead and share some of the things that you discuss, because I want to make sure I'm meeting you where you are. I don't want to stay nailed down, tied down to the subject matter if there's something else you would like to learn or know about. So I'm all ears. Go for it. Jump in.
I think the big one is everybody just wants to be able to get their business out so more people know about it so it can thrive more.
Okay.
That's the hardest thing to do.
Absolutely. Very true. Anybody else? I heard lots of conversation.
Well, for two of us here, we're maybe James too. We're single, solo business owners.
Okay.
And probably won't look in terms of growing in terms of employees, but how to grow a business as a solo business owner.
Got it.
How what you're providing would fit into that.
Yep.
Okay, fantastic. All right. Yeah, please.
We're learning, biggest reason I come to these is how to put myself above the competitor.
Okay.
Because the competitor is doing X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Okay, what do I have to do to get my step above?
Absolutely.
And that's what's the whole about of coming to these events is to get more knowledge and more information.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Can I say something too? And I'm not here because
Okay.
we're one of the sponsors, but I think one of the reasons that this particular venue is so important is that it is really just small business owners. It's a really casual environment. Sometimes things are like so programmed and it's like a training session. So I just find that we have some really good conversations here. To Norm's point, like no question is off the table and it's like a safe space.
Sure. Thank you, Amber. And to that point, if anything that I share, you want to stop me on right then and there because you have a question. I am also a keynote speaker and a professional speaker, so I'm being very generous to you when I'm lending you my time, but I'm open to hearing what that question might be, what your thought or comment to what I'm sharing might be, and I'm happy to pause for a little bit as we go through some of this. Sound like a plan? All right, cool. The first thing I will share with you is that I do not pretend to know it all as it pertains to business. Go figure. No one really does. But what I can share with you is that Trot Fitness has been in existence for 15 years. And fitness, especially on this side of the planet, is a very tough sell. 80% of fitness businesses actually go out of business within the first 6 months. Again, that's 80% of fitness business startups go out of business within the first 6 months. So the fact that we're now doing it for the span of 15, going on 15 years is quite the feat. I thought that y'all were gonna clap your hands and like something. I mean, come on. So whether you have been a part of Trot Fitness here locally or you have experienced it from being a part of our online, on-demand, or live streaming component, I'm super excited to share some of what has worked really well for us. And I'll share at least some of the origin story, if you will. And it really, truly was an act from God. I'm working at Bucknell as a Bucknell alumnus, and while typing at my computer, I really felt an impression from the Lord. I'm a believer. I love Jesus. And he was like, why are you still here? And it literally almost scared the snot out of my nose. So I scampered down about 3 flights of stairs, doused my face with water, started pacing back and forth because I knew exactly what that meant. I knew that at the time I was gonna have to take a deep dive into fitness. We were actually training clients in the local park, downtown Lewisburg, Hofnagel Park. How many of you are familiar with Hofnagel Park? And that was one of the biggest blessings God could have ever bestowed upon us. One person's crumbs is another person's treasure. People were walking past the park, they seen nothing, we seen our fitness space right there, loud and proud. And so with that being the case, we began to see folks come in droves. It started as 2 clients, then it started as maybe 5 clients. There were times where I would bicycle to the park because I live really close to the park and bicycle right back because nobody showed up. I seen the disappointment in my wife's face as she was cooking for dinner, like, babe, nobody showed up today. But then it went from 12 to then 15, and then there would be 50 people in the park, and that became like a walking billboard for us as people almost got in wrecks trying to see what was happening in the park. It was fantastic. It was awesome. Then we were in Brook Park Farm for about 8 years or so. And we had a fitness studio there. Now we've transitioned into it being online, and it's been great for the past 2 to 3 years. We're still learning the market, learning the space, but it's going great. I want to talk to you first about the mindset piece of this when it comes to really owning your own lane. You are unable to own your own lane if you don't own your own headspace. I'm gonna repeat that again. You will not own your own lane, even locally, if you do not own your own headspace. Because for every single one of us, especially as an entrepreneur, even though we may have an edge as an entrepreneur, trust me when I tell you, and I know this because of the sleepless nights sometimes, there are times where you wonder, are you who you really think you are? And until you can emphatically answer that question for yourself, it's going to be hard to really own the local market because you haven't convinced yourself. I was a scrawny kid. Trust me, my uncles used to say I have a bird chest. I remember that vividly. I'm talking about toothpick thin. And even folks, even though I played football at Bucknell, Jesus blessed me with that opportunity. Folks would still look at me from time to time and say, "You play football?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm out there with the beast, bro, just dominating out there. You need to come watch me, actually." But I had to really own that. And there were times in this fitness, even entrepreneurship journey, where it wasn't so much the case, especially again on this side of the world where people don't really buy into fitness. Many of you may know this already. Some of you committed to working out this morning. You did not. That's okay. You don't have to raise your hand or turn yourself in. It's almost casual how we approach our health and fitness. So I had to have a mindset that I am who I say I am. And then at one point, someone said, "Man, you're like a fitness preacher every time you talk about this stuff." And then that stuck with me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, let's get this trademark, Nissan Trotter, AKA the fitness preacher. And then that began to be the energy that I had around this whole enterprise that we've now developed over the span of 15 years. And I will share to you that once you have the energy, then it comes to the execution. For us, how we've been able to execute at a high level, and I hope that you would take this as encouragement and take me up on this, is finding someone in your space that you admire, that you would love to be like them because they do it just that good. Just because you are from a small town doesn't mean you should have small standards. So what I did and what we did, my wife and I especially, is, man, I was eating this up. I mean, how many certifications do you have for your profession? I mean, I was eating this up, y'all, flying across the country, trying to get in the spaces of the who's who in the boutique fitness space until I actually became nationally known as one of the best in the boutique space. Fitness Business Summit awarded me with the Personal Trainer of the Year award in 2015. And so even though from a local perspective, my notoriety wasn't quite where I would have hoped for it to be, I was still approaching the company and trying to run it, and this is noteworthy, as if it were a Fortune 500 company. And that's what I would encourage you to do, is to find somebody who is a major player or a big boy in your industry, in your space, and then try to mimic and model what they're doing. And here's what happens as a consequence of that. Your perhaps shortcomings becomes the mirror. Your business is actually a mirror of who it is that you are. I'm gonna repeat that. Your business is a mirror. So your self-limiting beliefs, if you have those, people will experience that and feel that every time you bring up your business's name. So I want to challenge you and encourage you as an entrepreneur, if you are who you say you are, to do some digging deep, and this is mindset stuff, do some digging deep to see what is separating, to his point. What's your name again? John. To John's point, what is separating your competition from you? And how can you close the gap? And then how can you become even better than your competition? How well do you know the market? And we'll get to that in a second. But it's identity, energy, execution, and then reputation. Once you start to deliver and then over deliver and then continue to show up and do it repeatedly to where, and I'll say this, whenever you have success stories and your success stories become quiet and it becomes no one necessarily even raving as much about it because it's now an expectation, you've arrived. That's actually what I believe. I mean, if you're in the Sunday sermon, I learned this from a pastor, and he's preaching, and everybody's like, "Oh man, what a wonderful message! What a wonderful message!" That was right on point. I mean, that was like a morsel from heaven. Well, shouldn't it be? I mean, it shouldn't be that every time, to where nobody now it's an expectation because you are a man of God, right? Identity, energy, execution, and reputation. And then once you have this whole mindset piece going for yourself, and you're starting to overcome the self-doubt, overcome like the inertia of maybe not starting, overcome that number, because we all have that number that we're trying to reach. We know what it means to perhaps, hopefully, break even in our business. We know what it means to be in the black regarding our business. Whatever that wall is, whatever that block is for you, one of the ways that you're going to have to break through it is really dominate the market. And here's how we dominated the market. And this is an equation I learned years ago. I wasn't sure if I was going to bring it up or not. It's speed of implementation plus imperfect action equals market domination. Speed of implementation. I love how you're taking notes. You're really soaking this up. The mental notes. I see you taking mental notes. Speed of implementation plus imperfect action equals market domination. We were the first to do it in this way in the Central Susquehanna Valley, from what I've seen. I had not seen it. I've studied this market through and through. There's nobody who scaled the business the way we have from a fitness standpoint, starting in a public park, local grassroots, a boot camp, to where, we've generated multiple millions in fitness business sales at this point, and we're still going, right? Like the reason for this, y'all, is because we weren't necessarily concerned about we just went. We seen the public park and we just went for it. We just put our foot on the gas and said, this is what we believe that God is calling us to do. Let's go do it. For some of you, the reason why, and I was just talking to my friend Matt, my new friend Matt, I was saying some of the issues and hurdles that we got to overcome is how would we feel if someone took our business idea and ran with it because we didn't move? And if your feeling is it would be like a gut punch, it would be like soul searing, then that is enough for you to get moving. Because there's somebody out there. There could have been another person in my shoes, possibly with the same idea, that's looking at Trot Fitness. I have no idea. 15 years down the road, and was like, I had that same idea. Got him. That's the type of competition. I'm competitive. I'm play collegiate sports, and so that's the thing. So speed matters. Speed of implementation plus imperfect action. Some of you, perhaps it's the business card that you're thinking it needs to be this color with the right font. No, just even if it doesn't look the right color, even if it isn't the right font, even if it's sort of crooked, just get the business card done. It's imperfect action. Because if you can do the speed and course correct with imperfect action over time, trust me when I tell you, you'll dominate the market. There were many people in this space who had never realized that you can actually coach and train people to get great results, and you don't need a whole bunch of fitness equipment. You don't need a fancy gym. All you need is some trees and some grass and some dirt and some open space, and you got yourself. So it's about vision, right? Any questions so far? I want to pause. I can talk on this I don't know if this is, it seems like I'm boring you, so I can definitely, everybody, okay, yeah.
I was curious if
Yeah.
you did anything like with the park, like to get, like you had to do any waivers or liability or anything.
We did. Our business is insured for sure. We cleared things with the bureau, absolutely. But then because we started from meager beginnings as well, if you didn't host it as an event, you could use the park for free. But if somebody held an event, then we would have to vacate the park or find another location to do it in. But that issue, we rarely ran into that problem. So nothing else real quick? I'll keep going. I think I got, like 10 minutes or something?
12.
You promised me an hour and a half. I was going to take you up on that. I love talking about this stuff. But so here's how we were able to dominate the market, and we're still going to this day, is because we know exactly who our avatar is. You got to be able to explain your avatar in specificity, because if you don't know who your avatar is, I bet you your competitor knows, and that's why they're so successful. So our avatar is a working professional female/mom, ages 35 to 65, who has investable discretionary income and is willing to pay for professional services. And can you be able to deliver your avatar message within one sentence or less? That's the goal, because that means that you fine-tuned it. And so as you begin to create this avatar, then you know exactly the problems of your avatar. And for us, this wasn't a problem, but this is actually skipping a step. This is the promise. We know that typically pros pay for pros. I'm gonna repeat that. Pros pay for pros. Meaning whether it is someone working at Bucknell University, Susquehanna University, or another professional as a dentist, as a doctor, another professional owning their own businesses, typically pros pay for pros. But because we were able to identify our avatar and know exactly our target market, we then were able to be very niche and specific with our offerings. Well, because it's the busy mom, we know that our sessions need to run about 30 to 35 minutes. Problem solved. Mrs. Jones, we're going to be able to get you out of here in 30 to 35 minutes. You don't have to be here all day. Because pros pay pros, because they understand that if you really want to increase the expenses, hire an amateur, or try to do it yourself. And because pros pay pros, we were able to speak to the Mrs. Jones in our marketing, our email communications, all these things, and say, and when you show up in our sessions, we're going to take care of absolutely everything for you. With our, we had at our height a staff of 10, multiple locations, Sillings Grove, Lewisburg, Williamsport, all these places. And when we got to the space of being able to say, this is a done for you model that's plug and play, you just show up and we'll take care of the rest, that was also a big sticking point to speaking to the avatar. And then we had to over deliver. We had to over deliver by helping Mrs. Jones with the results that they want, to regain their health and fitness after having their lovely children, to regain their health and fitness after feeling like they've lost themselves in their careers. Once we were able to share the promise, the proof actually helped us be able to close on that promise. Because fitness is a very cool space. When you help people in this space, they become walking billboards without saying a thing. Because their friends and their social circles, they know what Mrs. Jones used to look like. They know the type of energy that she used to have. They know the type of medications, perhaps even, that she now is touting on social media that she no longer has to take. And now we've dominated the market because we've scaled this starting at the very bottom with our avatar.
For businesses that are already established,
Yes.
and are looking to branch out to grab new people, like are there any new insights on that?
Absolutely. So I'm glad you asked. It's a perfect segue to the movement piece. So you've now we're talking about scaling your business in the essence of time. I'll try to be as brief as I can here. Whether you're online model, but I take it because of the subject matter, everybody here is a local business, maybe have an actual local establishment of some sort. I coined this, if you will. I believe that your footprint is less than foot traffic. And what I mean by that is your foot traffic is greater than footprint. Your actual footprint, meaning your physical space. So I encourage, and this is how we were able to scale our business even from a local standpoint, is being everywhere that our physical location could not be. This is the reason why I'm recording right now. Like a mentor of mine said, if you don't record it, it didn't happen. It did not happen. And I'll just be transparent and sharing with you how we've been able to grow and scale the business because of paying premier coaching for some of the best to do this in this game, to be quite frank with you. I mean, private coaching sessions in terms of mastermind meetings with some of the best email marketers and marketers in the world, podcast people in the world, literally. And I don't regret it, not one bit, even though, probably just in private coaching alone, spent tens and tens, probably upwards of $100,000 now just to get the information that seems so elusive, to be able to bring it back to this market. Because hear me closely, just because it's a small market doesn't mean it should have small standards. We should still be doing what the big boys, the big girls are doing. But to continue to answer this question about this whole how to scale it, how to get more notoriety, is how willing are you to truthfully have foot traffic to the avatar that you claim you want to serve. We to give you an example, we sponsored 5K races. We would sponsor T-shirts. We would then, especially once they got the type of transformations that we hope that they would have, we would treat them to Hershey Day spas, do something completely different that nobody in this market would be doing. You know, when you step into certain gyms, they don't even know your name. So that's an easy win for us. We not only know Mrs. Jones' name, we know the names of her pets, we know her children's age and their favorite sports. We're showing up at sporting events, etc. Like this is what it means to really over deliver and create the foot traffic. We would go downtown, and go downtown and actually meet local business owners and ask them, can we put our stuff in your shop to get business? And we would then offer the whole business free memberships to train at Trot just for allowing them to do that. We would exchange email lists even, if you will, and collaborate with email lists. I bring you up to my email list, you bring me up to your email list. I mean, that is what I mean by foot traffic and truly scaling your business. There's so many other examples. Lead boxes. We put out lead boxes in front of all the local establishments that said a free 30-day trial for boot camp you can win. And then they would fill out their name, their number, their information, put their information in the lead boxes. And then either myself or a teammate of ours would actually call every single lead. We give one free 30-day membership away, but every other person at least got a week free just for filling in their information. And our email list grew. The goal was to have at least 10 lead boxes per month in a shop and then collect those leads. So there's so many things in terms of, again, foot traffic that you can do. And you can also consider online stuff, foot traffic as well. And that's a whole nother ball game. I thought I seen a hand. I think I'm out of time as well. Did someone raise their hand? No? All right, I will. So one of the things that I just want to encourage you as well is to never undervalue the blessing of generosity. Generosity is like a local currency. I'm telling you, I wish that we kept up and kept track with the amount of people who came through Trot Fitness or heard about us in one way or another because we sponsored a local food drive and we helped there. I mean, just giving lots of money away and help. We collected shoes for people. We did things for the Scratching Post in Lewisburg. I mean, just I don't want to mention specific businesses, but we collaborate with other businesses. And one of the things that I really love that we used to do, and this is just an idea, we're all giving you all this for free, but we would have clients every time they train at Trot Fitness, we incentivize them to tag me and tag our business once they finish their workout. And also, every time they did that, our business would donate 50 cents per tag. And I had a teammate, a employee of ours, my assistant, I think, would just add up every single one of those tags for the week or the month rather, and based according to the amount of tags, 50 cents per tag, when you tag me and our business and you say, hey, I got my Trot on, we would then collect that money and give to a local charity of some sort. So our clients knew what we were sponsoring for that specific month and what we were giving to, and who wouldn't want to just buy an easy tag, put that on Facebook, put that on the Instagrams, and it's costing you nothing. It's actually, that you're helping us sprawl as a business, but also part and parcel, you're also helping us because we're helping us help somebody else because we're going to give money for that tag. So generosity is a local currency. There's so many ways that you can give from your business. And even if you're thinking it's small, it's minuscule, it's not much, you have no idea. I mean, we because we started at the Donald L. Heater Community Center during the winter times, this is a long time ago. I mean, a number of years, we would go back to Hofnagel Park, revisit our roots, revisit our history, and we would have charged people to train with us in the park. And for that one workout alone, we would then donate to the Donald L. Heater Community Center because we wanted to never forget how they helped us out, charging us pennies to the dollar to rent their space in the wintertime. So be creative, right, is the underlying message here regarding your generosity, and that's going to also help you with foot traffic in your space. So,
I have a question.
yeah.
Generosity and giving of yourself and finding the business, the balance between transactional business that everyone in here needs to do. You need to, whether you're selling widgets or services, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to transact that business versus the giving of your time and to teach someone or hold their hand and walk them through something. It seems like in the chronology of a business owner, of an entrepreneur's life, they give a lot in the beginning because they don't have a lot of customers, right? So
Right.
they give of themselves and they build a reputation that they give. And then they get customers because of that.
Yep.
And then they become very busy and they start to edge towards that continuum of transactional business. So when you start to do all these things, it's a lot of energy that you expel. It's a lot of work. Do you have any advice on how to balance the gift of giving of yourself and your service and your expertise versus the transactional nature of getting the thing done?
Wow, that's a really good question. I mean, I for the longest time, and we'll eventually get to this place again as we continue to learn the online space, which is incredible for us. I mean, profit margin was at 67% profit margin last year, right? And that's really good. I mean, I think the industry standard is around 40 to 50% for brick and mortars. So you're looking at we done about 25% more than that from a profit margin perspective. And the reason why I'm saying that, I forget the reason why. Because like I will say to you that a big percentage that I would encourage you to think about is the 5% of the business that you can focus on versus the 95% of the business that you can possibly get away with delegating. Because if you can work from that 95% perspective, now it doesn't mean that you're not going all out at 100 miles an hour as best as you can. It's just that your 5% is really what you focus on to get it done. And for me, for such a period of time, it was leadership of our team. It was vision, stuff like that. But I could also put in that 5% norm, the fact that at least once a month, I'm going to take time to give my time away and to just serve. So we would do things like scholarships. We would sponsor somebody for a whole year to do Trop Fitness. It's just serving, you know what I mean? And what I will tell you is, you know, there's still obviously ways you leverage free. I'm not sure how we're gonna do it with this, but I'm sure that we're gonna leverage this somehow. You know, that's why my camera, like, I wasn't dependent on Norm to have his camera out. I knew I was gonna have my tripod though. Because even though this is free, like we find ways to leverage free. And so sometimes free isn't necessarily free, but it's still free too. I hope that answered it a little bit.
Sure.
Okay. And I will also say this too, Norm, it's still incredibly hard as your business grows and it scales to try not to make that feel transactional because it's bandwidth that we're dealing with and things of that sort. But I will tell you that having a heart for the business and having a heart for people, even beyond the bottom line number, is what's really kept me at bay so that this isn't just like we're trying to take your money. My goal truly is, because, you know, I'm not trying to say this in a particular way. We don't really need to do this at this point, like in terms of dire need to do this, and we're grateful for that. Where we're at in the space is we truly want to see you transform. We truly want to see you change. And so that always helps me keep people front of mind. Any other questions? Thoughts? Comments?
I always have a question. I'm like, I look around the room to make sure there's not another.
Okay.
So as I was listening, and I'm thinking about my own business experience and how all in I was on so many things. And people talk about work-life balance. And so in order to build this, what did that look like? I mean, was there work-life balance, or was it like, this is the thing I'm doing. Because
Yeah.
that's a struggle sometimes.
Yeah.
Like to really get there, how all in you really have to be.
I think you have to be all in, and if you had another person that was your clone, that person needs to be all in too.
I used to say,
Yeah.
people were like, who
Yeah.
are you? And I was like, really?
Yeah. It was just hard. A lot of this is truthfully, I believe the Holy Spirit, the grace of God in operation in our business. Like, who am I that He's mindful of me? I'm nothing really at the end of the day. So this was driven like divine, I truly believe, intervention to be able to be in this space. To answer your question, like I don't necessarily believe in balance. I just believe in wherever you are, be there. Like for this moment in time, nothing else matters to me more than really trying to share and hopefully help at least one person in this room. At some point when I get to my boys, it is a challenge because this is just the entrepreneur in me. My kids are playing, but it's hard to break away from, I know somebody is waiting that I could close on right now. So I don't have the answer for that completely. I just don't necessarily believe that it is, especially early on, going to be about balance. But I will tell you, it is a beautiful thing to have your business in operation and have the right systems in place where clients are coming through and being served and they don't even really know that you own the business. I mean, that was special. When I came in one day and the person walked in the studio and asked my assistant, who was the owner, who was not the owner, like, can I, who's the owner, basically? And she pointed to like me. To me, that was like, wow, we've gotten to a space to where folks don't even know who it is that I am in certain occasions, but they're still being serviced by our business. So when it scales to that point, I feel like that's when you find yourself pulling away from the grind of it. So long answer to a short question. Ooh, I worked up a sweat in here, y'all.
Any other questions, thoughts, comments?
Nothing? This is easy, man.
Well, you still got another 45 minutes left. No.
Well, if you're not the type that don't want to ask questions in front of everybody, you can certainly pull me to the side. Again, we are still humble in our beginning, still have a long way to go in terms of what we envision for this space. But if you're ever interested in Trot Fitness, I don't hesitate in making the sale, making the close. That's another thing about an entrepreneur. We close. I'm offering every single one of you, just for listening to me, an opportunity to do Trot Fitness, even online, a 14 to 21 day free trial experience. I'm calling it our Fat Flush. Look up me later and I'll help you with those details.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I don't have a question. I actually have a testimony.
Oh yeah.
The truck line.
Oh, that's right.
I was for the summer and I loved it so much because I was committed. I loved the service. The system was terrific.
Thanks for
And I was so impressed that I actually signed up my entire family to take classes. And if you have a chance to experience, I would encourage.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mila, for saying that. And for coming too.
I have a funny story. So
okay.
That's not that funny. It's just Nissan had made all these like really positive waves in his space. And I can remember maybe 6-7 years ago. Is that how the kids do it?
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, no, I won't. But I can remember someone got me in and I was in the email system and I was like, whoa. I felt like I was somebody because I got invited into the Trot Fitness world. I don't know who it was. You know, somebody referred me and I'm like, oh, look at me. I'm good enough to be considered into this like elite kind of fitness community, right? And it was more the sense of the community that you had built. And it was this sense of feeling and belonging. I think that is the thing that I remember is that it was the people that, whether they were on social media, like I've seen people that have gone through the hardest times in their life. And the one bright spot that I saw in their life was their picture they posted, like drenched in sweat, looking ridiculous. And they were so happy, the smiles, you know, from here to here, because they were at Trot Fitness. And so that like sense of belonging and community is a testament to what you built.
Thanks.
And that's really strong. I think if we all can come away from this with a feeling of belonging to something that's bigger than us, then maybe that's an arrival point. You know?
Absolutely. Well said. Thanks, Norm.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah.
You did it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. That's going to do it for BBB. If you're online and you're watching, and if you're here in person, last Wednesday of the month, check out Business Bytes and Brews on the Cup of Code website. That's a great place for you to see past speakers and see who's upcoming. And Amber, do you know who's coming up next?
Yeah, we actually have Mike Ferlazzo, so
Oh,
media
yeah.
relations specialist. So Mike Ferlazzo from Bucknell University will be joining us, and Mike has a lot of experience in the traditional media space. We talk a lot today about online marketing and digital marketing and the power of writing a good press release and having good contacts to be able to promote your business in those ways. And he happened to also have a history with Tim Keeley in that he was the band director back then, and apparently Mike was a pretty tough guy. So we'll be excited to welcome him in and some of the expertise that he brings.
Nice. All right. Awesome. Mike Ferlazzo from Bucknell University coming up next month, last Wednesday of the month. And thanks again for joining.